Hey guys, how's it going? Kyprotonic here. I have another narrated Pokemon Wi-Fi battle, and this one is against an opponent called the Gas Bubble. Who cares? He's a bloody gas with a bubble. So, looking at his team really quickly, I can kind of see he actually has a Haxorus, a Dragonite, an Alakazam as his speed Pokemon, and all individually are quite good overall leads. Who cares? Could be any of them, because none of them makes sense as a lead. So it turns out he's actually going to lead up with his Bishop, and I'm going to lead my Rotom. Anything new there? No. So yeah, kind of a decent matchup for me, although I'm just going to go straight for the Volt Change, Volt Switch, and do a decent damage on the Bishop, and I'm going to switch out into going to Castlevania, because Castlevania, and yeah, he goes for Fling, and then he flings me his Light Ball. I was like, what? Oh god, that's not good. So now I get paralyzed, and obviously that kind of sucks, so I can't really do anything here at this point. I just decide just to stay in, just to scout what he wants to try and do. Kind of maybe he might take the advantage there and going into one of his dragons. I go for the Ice Fang, just on the off chance if that would actually happen, but it never did. So he decides to switch out, goes into Slowking. I'm going to go into Ferrothorn, because, you know, Ferrothorn against Slowking, who cares? It's only a Slowking. I can always bring in Scizor at some point anyway, just to U-turn that thing and do a decent amount of damage. But yeah, now he goes into Dragonite, whilst I go for a layer of Spikes. And yeah, considering that most of these pokes are not going to be too damaged by the Spikes, I probably should have just eventually gone into my Heatran early on, and just to pull off like the Stealth Rock against this Dragonite, because it does actually have the multi-scale ability still. And yeah, so I'm gonna go into Rotom, take a Waterfall, which was surprising. I'm gonna go for Will-O-Wisp because I am actually Scarfed, so putting that Dragonite with the burn always makes me a happy guy inside for some reason, but it just does actually work. So gonna go to Gliscor once again, just to scout what he wants to try and do. I kind of thought he might go for one overpowered move, or one last stock of power, and maybe just try and do something kind of funny, but he doesn't, so I'm just going to be a bit of a jerk and go for Protect on the last turn. He is actually alive, so the Bishop goes down. Now in comes the Slowking once again, and I don't really want to switch out here because Gliscor's kind of useless being paralyzed, and you know, you're probably not ever going to see that, a Gliscor being paralyzed. I mean, come on, that's very rare. Very, very rare. So yeah, he does finish me off with the Boiling Water. Gonna go into Scizor now, and I do actually scare it out with the U-turn, but he decides to stay in here, probably thinking he's a champ. You know, he's the king of taking hits, but he doesn't. He goes down, and yeah, that's a dead Slowking. So it's a very good thing for me, because that wall can actually be more of a pain than at least more of a threat, to be honest. So in comes Alakazam. I'm gonna go for Volt Change, and I'm gonna be obviously out faster than the thing, although Alakazam is a very speedy psychic Pokemon, and yeah, I go straight into my Ferrothorn whilst he goes for the Energy Ball. I figured if he's going to go for the Surf move, then whatever, Ferrothorn's going to take it all day, all night. And yep, so I think he decides to switch out. I don't know if he's choice specs, he could be, just judging on the switch initiative there. I'm just going to assume he's either a choice item. Just going to assume he's specs, because most Alakazam's pre-4th generation used to be always specs for some reason. So in comes a Dusknoir, takes a hefty damage from something, and I'm just going to go for Leech Seed now, and I wasn't really too bothered about being burned. I probably could have switched into Heatran there just to benefit from more with my ability of Flash Fire, and you know, whatever, it doesn't bother me because Ferrothorn is only just there to usually just set up the spikes. So now I do go into Heatran, and the only thing that I kind of just need to get up is my Stealth Rock, just for that Haxorus, I believe, and I think, yeah, he still actually does have the Dragonite laying about somewhere in his team. Although he does go for Pain Split, I'm not too bothered. He's not going to be recovering back too much HP, just based on the fact that I am actually do have the Leech Seed, and I actually do have my leftovers on my Heatran, so overall that doesn't bother me. But what surprised me was actually seeing the Earthquake. And I know I'm probably going to get like a comment, oh, why didn't you switch out there, predicting, seeing the Earthquake coming, but I didn't actually expect the Earthquake, because it's a Dusknoir, I just didn't expect it. I know it can learn Earthquake, I just wasn't expecting the move, to be honest. But I do get my Stealth Rock up, so that's kind of a beneficial thing there, I guess. So I go into Rotom. I'm going to go for the Hydro Pump because I figured if he doesn't switch out, then whatever. I'm just going to hit this thing very hard. And yeah, I know eventually I'm going to be able to at least two-shot the thing, considering I'm actually lower HP and he cannot pain split me that for no reason. So he Shadow Sneaks me, gets off a crit, then I miss my Hydro Pump. He now switches into Dragonite, which was probably the correct move to do, and obviously that's not going to do anything. But I'm just going to stay in here because at this point I really don't want to switch out and have something else to take my Outrage. Could have switched into Scizor there, but maybe he might have predicted that, but I just want to stay in. And yeah, just die there, I guess. So goodbye, Rotom. In comes Scizor once again. And I'm just going to Bullet Punch, and now that's easily going to finish off Dragonite. So goodbye to you, Dragonite. Get a useless crit there. And in comes Dusknoir once again. Now, even though I do actually have Stealth Rock and Spiked up, I figured Bullet Punch will still be a 2-hit kill at that range of HP. It is a Dusknoir. It does actually have good defense and special defense in terms of base stats, so I know if it's going to be defensive, it will actually take a Bullet Punch all day. So I predict Will-O-Wisp. If he wants to Earthquake, then whatever. I'm just going to go into Ferrothorn due to me being already burned. I'm not going to take anything from that. I believe I go for Leech Seed, and I forgot about the Alakazam probably as a switch in there, but in hindsight, it doesn't really matter just because I can still bring in like Scizor eventually and actually kill off the Alakazam because I'm carrying the priority Bullet Punch. And considering also, I should say, the Dusknoir actually didn't get off a Pain Split, so if that takes more form of like entry hazard damage, it will actually go down. But he then shows me Psychic on the Alakazam, so I don't know if he made an over prediction or he just doesn't have Focus Blast in the thing. But yeah, I would have just left in my Ferrothorn as Death Order there, so whatever. I do take it out with a Power Whip. So in comes Haxorus, and that thing is scary, and I don't know what item it is. It could be Lum, it could be Choice because I don't see leftovers. So I'm just going to go into my Landorus, Land Before Time apparently, just because I'm actually going to be faster than the thing because I don't really expect it to be Choice Scarf. That would be kind of unusual, a Choice Scarf Haxorus, maybe. So I'm going to two-shot the thing whilst he locks himself into Earthquake, so that kind of assumes, well, to me that he was Choice Banded at that point. And yeah, it would actually make sense to be a Choice Banded Haxorus. I mean, Earthquake, Choice Banded, pretty good. So, Dusknoir comes in. I figured all those entry hazards plus a stabbed Earthquake would finish off the Dusknoir, but it doesn't. So, this thing's still around, being annoying as hell because it pulls off a Pain Split. And yeah, it's back up to mediocre HP, like half HP I should say. I'm just going to stay in here and go for Earthquake. It's my strongest move. If you Will-O-Wisp me, then fine, whatever. I really get frustrated with Dusknoir for some reason at this point, but I pull off an Earthquake, he doesn't Shadow Sneak, and that's actually game over. So yeah, bye-bye!